hey, you got to be all in, similar to the National Football League, and you need somebody who's really an angel looking out for you to say, hey, go be great somewhere else, which is all your boy needs to say to Justin Fields, right? That's what I think.
Talk about life in muddy waters. So my boy, you mean Ryan Poles?
Yes.
Yes. Here's what. So we talked about what the Bears should do, and you and I, just to recap for those that may have missed it on our fine YouTube channel, you and I agree that if we were in charge of the Bears front office, going back to our franchise mode, that's what I was referencing. When you asked me if I was a night owl, I was like, Michael, you know me. How many sleepless nights did we have falling asleep in franchise mode back in the day? But now that I'm old, though, I go to sleep about 9:30. I be calling Savannah, being like, yo, I need you to come home because I can't wait up for you no more. Like adulting is real. Like my days are so, dog, I'm in the bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock now. It's crazy. And it just out of nowhere. I mean, it's just this adulting is wearing me out. So if I would have been making a trade at 3 a.m. with some of my West Coast league mates, wasn't happening last night because I was dealing with Surf Pro and preventing mold in carpet. Okay, back to Ryan Poles. Anyway, so last week we talked, and you and I said that if we were running the Bears franchise, what we used to in franchise mode, we would both keep Justin Fields, and I think you may be inclined to take Marvin Harrison at 1 if necessary, but ideally trade down, accumulate more picks, and find a way to end up with Marvin Harrison. But you and I are both in the trade down camp as much as we like Caleb Williams as a prospect. So that was last week. Combine in Indianapolis is going on right now. Here's Ryan Poles, not quite adding clarity, surprise, to what the Bears may be thinking about what to do at quarterback.
If you decide to draft a quarterback, what is your motivation to trade Justin before free agency starts, knowing that there might be a premium on that?
Yeah, again, it just depends on what opportunities pop up. I will say this, I think you guys know me well enough now. If we go down that road, I want to do right by Justin as well. No one wants to live in gray. I know that's uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to be in that situation either. So we'll gather the information, we'll move as quickly as possible. We're not going to be in a rush and see what presents itself and what's best for the organization.
All right, let me just say, if I haven't said it already lately, I feel like I have. I love Ryan Poles. I love the job he's done since he's come to Chicago. I love how he's built this thing. Having said that, clock's ticking. Be quick, but don't hurry.
Yeah.
There's a sense of urgency here for a lot of reasons. But what's your read on what Ryan Poles had to say, or maybe even Matt Eberflus and what he had to say, which we didn't play, but what you're hearing from the Combine as you read the tea leaves about whether Justin Fields is or is not headed for greener pastures elsewhere?
Okay, look, Michael, maybe I'm being too naive with this. I don't think there's going to be a big difference between what Justin Fields would get right now if the Bears said, we're out on Justin Fields, or what Justin Fields will bring back the Bears if Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus continue to play this game where, hey, we'll see what happens, and we love Justin, and we just need to evaluate our options. What they're doing is trying to get a market going or maybe drive up the price. I think you probably have the difference of, it might be 5 picks. It might be the difference between pick number 75 and pick number 80. I'm really guessing that the market for Justin Fields is not going to change. Teams are smart. They haven't said Justin Fields is our quarterback. They haven't said the magic words for us or for Justin Fields. Well, he knows that he's not going to be there. We know he's not going to be there. Just go ahead and say, look, it's going to be
jump.
Don't
fuck around with it.
We'll probably
do it expeditiously.
We think we think Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in this draft, and we'd be happy to take him. But hey, if somebody wants to come up and make us a deal, we'll take a deal, whatever it is. But they're going to take Caleb Williams. They're going to trade Justin Fields, and they're going to have 2 great top 10 picks to choose from. So one of them be Caleb Williams, and the other one, hey, who knows? Wide receiver, left tackle. You're in pretty good shape. No matter what you do, you're in pretty good shape.
I think that goes that's true for both parties. Well, look, everybody's projecting Caleb Williams at 1 to them. Look, crazy shit happens, man. Like, the third option is they trade Justin Fields and trade the number 1 overall pick and get a Drake May, a Jaden Daniels, hell, a J.J. McCarthy even. I mean, you know, who knows what happens between now and the actual draft. There's a lot of different ways to play this if you're Ryan Poles.
Smart. You're right.
Yeah, and I think what they want to do is A, keep their options open, and B, not tip their hand, is what you were alluding to just now. I think they're playing this perfectly, but what you're saying,
you do?
I'll paraphrase. Yeah, and what I'll paraphrase is don't play us for stupid. You can play this perfectly, but don't play us for stupid either. Like we know it when we see it. Why do I think they're playing it perfectly?
Yeah, wait, two questions I want you to answer. I'm going to sit back and listen here. One, why do you think they're playing it perfectly? And then something you said in the first minute where you said, I love the way he's building this thing. What exactly has he built? So that's what I want you to answer. I want you to answer those things. I'll do the since you hit me with a double barrel question, I'll do the second one first, which is typically what happens. The cupboard was unbelievably bare. So maybe let me, no pun intended. Let me rephrase and say I love the way Ryan Poles is going about building this thing. It's not a finished project or product, but I love the way he's going about it. The cupboard was unbelievably bare when it came to the number of blue chip talent players on the roster when he arrived there. The salary cap situation was for shit. There weren't a lot of draft picks, future draft picks at his disposal. He's gone about cleaning house, getting rid of a lot of older players, bringing in a lot of youth, accumulating draft capital, fixing the salary cap situation, as I mentioned. And I think the future is, in fact, bright. When you look at the roster, when you look at a lot of the young talent, again, still some holes to be filled. But when you look at a lot of the young talent that he's brought in, I think that future is bright. And I think he has an opportunity, this is what we talked about last week, he has an opportunity to make that number 1 pick from last year that came by virtue of the gift from Lovie Smith and the Houston Texans, make that the gift that keeps on giving. And just like he got a haul from the Panthers last year, the Panthers did their part by giving him the number 1 pick again this year. He can flip it again and create generational wealth and feed families in Chicago. So I think Ryan Poles has built this smartly, and I think he also understands, because if the blueprint is Kansas City, and I think I said this the other day, if the blueprint is Kansas City, it's not just find the next Patrick Mahomes, which many have suggested that Caleb Williams may be. It is create an infrastructure that is ready to support a young quarterback in the same way that Kansas City was when Patrick Mahomes took the mantle from Alex Smith. That's the answer to question number 2. Did I adequately and sufficiently answer that question? That does.
Okay.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Question number 1, why do I think they're playing it perfectly, even if trying to play the rest of us are stupid? Maybe let everybody else decide for you. So I often tell my kids this, especially my oldest, as she embarks on her college application process, college selection.
Which I can't believe.
Yeah, tell me about it. Wow. Talk about life coming at you fast, adulting, all of this, man, all of this. I often tell her there's no such thing as a wrong decision. You make a decision and you make it right, okay? In this case for the Chicago Bears, I don't think they can go wrong here. If they keep Justin Fields and build around Justin Fields, even though we don't know exactly what he is, he's shown enough for you and I to believe that there's something there. If they were to keep Justin Fields and build around him in the form of maybe trading down from number 1 and accumulating more assets and to continue to add blue chip talent at other positions and support the quarterback, I think that could be a successful formula. If they were to decide to reset yet again at quarterback and trade Justin Fields for and continue to replenish the cupboard with the draft pick or picks that Justin Fields would net, build another quarterback, use the picks he's already gotten to build around that quarterback. If Caleb Williams is in fact generational, or come to find out is actually Drake May or Jaden Daniels is a guy that they go forward with, or like I said, J.J. McCarthy, if he ends up being a riser, I think that could be a successful formula as well. Like they're holding all the cards. He's not just holding his cards close to the chest or to the vest, whichever one it is. He's holding all the cards. So
vest.
I really don't think there's a. It's vest? Is it vest?
It's a
It is vest?
Yeah.
Okay,
close to the
chest vest. Okay, but while we're on the
close to
subject,
vest.
but we've argued about this before. You got another think coming. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill. We talked about this, right? You know, if you think the Chicago Bears are not going to trade Justin Fields, you got another think coming, not another thing coming. I hate, that's a pet peeve. It is another think coming, because why would I say if you think and then substitute that with thing?
I don't think we talked about
it's
this.
another
I have
think
never heard
coming.
anybody say that. People say that?
What, thing or
I've never
think?
heard that.
Which side are you on? That's what it is. Why wouldn't it be?
It's if you think. So say it again. Say it again. If you
think the Chicago Bears are not going to trade Justin Fields, then you have another think coming.
Okay. I've never heard the think. But
Why would it be thing? Why would it be
but here's
thing?
the thing. I don't like either one of them.
The phrase falls flat. The phrase falls flat
like
if you don't pay it off with the think.
I don't like
This has been a
either
pet
phrase.
peeve. Okay, fine. That's fine. Oh, I mean, come on, man. You ain't used that with your kids? You got another thing coming?
Another thing coming? No. I don't think
Okay, well, I was told that my whole young life, and I have repeated it because, yes, as the Progressive commercial says,
See, that's
I
it.
have become my parents. I also say advertisement, by the way. Most people say advertisement. I'm more
that's
British,
fancy.
I guess. I say
That's fancy.
advertisement.
That's fancy.
Enough. So
That's
what
nice.
the hell do I know?
That's nice.
What the hell do I know?
Yeah, advertisement. Yeah, you like
So I
that.
don't-
You like that. That's that
All
good
right.
stuff.
So whether Justin Fields is for sale or not, figuratively speaking, I don't think they can go wrong. I don't think they can go wrong because I think, they could go wrong by Justin Fields, and that's where Ryan Poles is right. They could do wrong by him, which maybe tells me that they've already made a decision. But like, what if you get a better deal for the number one pick, or one that you just can't turn down? What if you get another Godfather offer for the number one pick, and it outweighs trading Justin Fields for a second round pick? Or what if another team doesn't want to give you, what you think Justin Fields is worth? Or what if, as the evaluation process goes on, now maybe they finished it, maybe they haven't. The evaluation process goes on, you realize, like, you know what? There's some questions about Caleb Williams and these other prospects where we'd be better off taking the absolute best player available in Marvin Harrison at number one, as opposed to resetting at quarterback. Like, I think others can make the decision for them in this case in a perfect world, if they were not at the mercy of time. However, here's what I'll say before I pass it back to you. Last thing I'll say, promise. There's another phrase that if you're thinking about getting divorced, you're already divorced. Or like multiply how long you've been thinking about divorce by 2. I mean, again, that's what I've heard. That's not me, that's not you, that's what I've heard.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
now.
sorry. I'm not trying to speak that over you.
Okay.
But point being, it's like, if they haven't already committed to Justin Fields, it stands to reason that they won't ever. You know what I mean?
That's
Because
right.
it's like they can't sit here and just wait when other teams are going to make decisions at quarterback, or other teams are trying to figure out their rosters, or like they can't afford to squat on Justin Fields for too long. Not just because it's not the right thing to do by the player. I appreciate Ryan Poles for saying that, but because everybody else ain't gonna sit around and wait for them to make that decision. So, it's kind of. Yeah, it works both ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I wonder if the Bears actually know where Justin Fields is going to go, because they can kind of control it in a sense, because they control the draft. The Bears, the draft starts in Chicago. It cannot start until Chicago, they got the number one spot. And so some of the teams that want to trade up are trading up for a quarterback. And some of those teams are going to be disappointed. They're not going to get the quarterback that they're looking for. They're going to trade up for one of the top 3 guys. Chicago can be a big part of determining whether those teams get one of those top 3 guys. And if they take Caleb Williams, that takes 2 of them. That takes 1 off the table. So you only got 2. You only got Drake May and Jaden Daniels, theoretically, for those teams. Those teams that lose out on the other 2 might be really in the market for Justin Fields. So they're like, really, Chicago could control a lot of things here. But here's the other thing. And I appreciate what you said. And I tease you about Dynasty and how often you are tweaking your roster and remaking and resetting your roster almost like every other day. Every other day, this is what you do. And it's realistic because there are general managers like this in football, like you. And we see some of them, and we saw them at the Combine. Like, the Combine is great. You went to the Combine, I went to the Combine. We've had some great moments in our football coverage days, like intense football coverage days, the beginning of them, just connecting with that person. Okay, talking with agents. Hey, who's moving? What's going on? Like, really insider stuff at the Combine. But there are some general managers, and I'm not saying Ryan Poles is this guy, but there are some general managers who are so addicted to the deal, to making trades.
Oh, that's why you brought.
That
okay, that's why you brought me up. Okay, it all comes full circle. Gotcha. Okay.
After all of the dealing is done, they don't necessarily have what they need. And so you say the Bears have a lot of options. Hey, maybe they trade Justin Fields. Maybe they don't. Maybe they trade down. They don't take Caleb Williams. You're in Chicago. And you know what? Your organization has never had a steady quarterback.
Which is why.
You need to get a quarterback. Forget about this best player available. And we don't know. We have questions about Caleb. We got questions about Justin. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we just take the best left tackle and the best wide receiver. No. You need a quarterback. That's why Shane Waldron's there. Shane Waldron is there to develop a quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields or Caleb Williams.
Okay, well, that's the key word. Okay, but that's the key word. It's just like, look, part of it is the flashes I've seen from Justin Fields. Development, by the way, is the key word. Part of it is the flashes I've seen from Justin Fields. The other part of it is like not feeling like Justin Fields got a fair shake, which, life ain't fair, but still, like, and at a certain point in Chicago, all the quarterbacks can't be the wrong picks. Y'all can't just be that bad all the time at picking quarterbacks. You're doing something wrong when it comes to developing and supporting No, nobody. No, take it from me. A broken clock is right twice a day, and a blind squirrel finds a nut. There is absolutely no way that in every instance Chicago just picked or passed on the wrong guy. There's no way. Like, they have been awful at developing and supporting said quarterbacks
who's
properly.
Done well. I remember we had Mitch Albom on the show back in the day, and I brought this up to him where he was talking about Detroit coaches. Now, this is old Detroit, not brother from another team of brother from another.
No, I know what you're saying. Who's done well after Detroit?
Yeah, he said once they come through Detroit, that's it. Who's done well? What Bears quarterback has gone through Chicago and then flourished somewhere else? I can't think of one.
I don't know if that's a counter, but I'm saying maybe Chicago just ruined them. Maybe Chicago just ruined them, either on the front end or they went to Chicago for their career to die. Either way, I don't know if that was a counter to my point that Chicago can't develop or support quarterbacks, but both those things can be true. Yes, maybe they did draft or scout and select the wrong guy, and maybe that guy ended up in the wrong place. Whatever the reason is, Justin Fields feels like the latest example of, giving up on a guy too soon before you've actually done all that you can do as an organization. And I think, again, I talked about the job that Ryan Poles is doing restocking the cupboard. Well, Justin Fields is a victim of that in many respects, to say nothing of play calling, okay? So, but on the flip side, and we both agree on this, if Caleb Williams is that guy, sorry, you got to do what the Cardinals did when they went from Josh Rosen to Kyler Murray in a year. You got to say, no, Justin Fields is a good player, but Caleb Williams is in fact transcendent, and we have an opportunity to get him. But once you get him, guess what you got to do by him? Right. Yeah, you have to develop him. You have to
Yeah.
support him. You have to stick with him through thick and thin, else you'll be right here again in 5 years. This is the most perpetually rebuilding franchise in the league. They've been rebuilding for both of our lifetimes and then some. So, or at least it feels like. So they've had flashes, they've had moments. What was I saying? Oh, so yeah, I hear you on they need to get this position settled, but I do think there's more than one path, and I think this is not a dilemma. This is not a choice between two bad options. This is door number one or door number two. I think can be a path to success in either case, and I think the same goes for Justin Fields.
It's an exciting time.
Very exciting time. This is the same goes for Justin Fields. I was thinking about this because we talked about this last week when he unfollowed the Bears and then explained it on the podcast why. He just wanted peace. I get it.
Yeah.
But you have to unfollow
Do
him, you know.
Do you? Yeah.
Right. I mean, okay, I get wanting
He made it
peace,
worse.
but you know, yeah.
Hey man, I'm about to go. He said I'm about to go on vacation. I don't want it on my timeline. But so like the Bears are the Bears like trafficking in Justin Fields rumors?
They're not. They're not actually. They're not. There's ways
there.
around that. There's ways around that.
What if the Chicago Bears? That's us. What if the Chicago Bears trade Justin Fields to the Falcons? Like
I'm but it's also not even how Instagram works. Like I'm following a lot of people who don't show up in my timeline because that's just my algorithm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people follow me and I don't show up in their timeline. That's their algorithm or my poor posting, which is another conversation. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But either way, if Justin Fields stays in Chicago, and I know you had your cup of coffee there, it's a tough town, it is. And it's tough on the quarterbacks, which is another part of it. If he stays in Chicago and Ryan Poles continues to do the job that I think he's doing, then they're going to end up giving Justin Fields one or two blue chip receivers in addition to DJ Moore, which they gave him last year. They're going to end up giving him better protection up front. They're going to end up continuing to fortify the defense. He's going to end up in a better situation if he stays in Chicago. If he gets traded, the teams that he's rumored to be headed to, Atlanta or Pittsburgh, we already talked about it. I'm not saying that's all they're missing, but those are some excellent situations to go into. You know, those are not exactly rebuilding situations. Those are teams that feel like they're a quarterback away from being taken seriously. So
yeah, and you know what?
I don't think he can lose either. The Bears can lose for once. I don't think Justin Fields can lose in this situation.
If he goes to, if you just look at those teams there, you look at those top four teams. Broncos, I don't know. All right, but
the only one I don't love is the Patriots. The Patriots is the only one I don't love out of that entire list.
It's just the opposite. The Broncos I don't love. I'm gonna tell you why I love these options for Justin Fields. In Atlanta, he's got Zach
Why you don't love the
Robinson and
Broncos?
Raheem Morris.
You don't like the Broncos because they're gonna ask him to take off his injury guarantee. But we'll get to that.
Hey, I was gonna say, you already in a relationship. You in a relationship. You handle that business first. Don't.
Right.
You ain't out. What you doing out
see.
here? What you doing out?
Look.
You ain't ready to be out here. You got some business.
I see how you treated that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get caught up in your drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to go down another road, but you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'll just say this. With those teams on the list, the Falcons we know their offensive talent. They got Zach Robinson there, who's worked with Raheem Morris. So Raheem Morris, head coach, Zach Robinson is your offensive coordinator. With the Bears, Shane Waldron, man, like you got something. You got the hardware. You got the hardware on the wall, diploma on the wall, whatever you got Geno Smith. We all forgot about Geno Smith, and you were there as part of the Geno Smith comeback story. That's amazing. Yeah. So you got that guy in Chicago. Pittsburgh, you got Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith knows how to work with a talent like Justin Fields. Arthur Smith as an OC, yes. Arthur Smith as a head coach, not so much. And then in New England, Alex Van Pelt, coming from that Kevin Stefanski Cleveland system, play action, run the ball, strong running game. That's a good setup for him. So if he goes to one of those
You like
teams,
New England, huh? You like New England?
Yeah.
New England feels like the farthest away.
Justin Fields. I'm sorry. Justin Fields with with Alex Van Pelt and Gerard Mayo as your head coach. I like it. I like it. A good start. They got the third pick.
I don't love this. I don't love the skill group. Same issues that Mac Jones had to deal with, but okay. Bailey Zappi. I don't. But that could improve. That could improve. So maybe they end up with Marvin Harrison. Maybe they end up with Marvin Harrison at 3 if they get Justin Fields. You get Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison, you're cooking with gas.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.